Hey guys, I'm in bed here and I just recorded um, a little take of this, but I wasn't very satisfied with it for some reason or another, which is kind of a recurring running theme with life here and there. Um, and I have this sort of mm, compulsion to perfect and repeat, and generally hits me not too long after I create something. But the thing is, it doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't happen all the time. But I wanted to have some music. I had Aphex Twin playing, and I like Aphex Twin, and it fits the kind of sleepy time, chill vibes chill vibes time. um, but no Aphex Twin, unfortunately, just the cold silence of the PM before work tomorrow. But enough beating around the bush. I wanted to do a little meta level video and just check in on the project and where I've been, because I've been reconsidering some things, and fortunately I care. Fortunately, life matters and life means things. um, and I say unfortunately because hmm, because that requires change and well, death, um, and death seems to run contrary to our wishes and preference. Um, so it's rather tragic, I know, but thankfully we're here together. We have each other, and this all sounds very strange, very cultish. I'm speaking very abstractly. Um, I think my meaning is quite innocent. I have just been really reconsidering the ends I wish to meet with this project and just what honesty really means. I called this project Honesty Tube because honesty is a key value. Um, Honesty implies a certain wholeness, a totality, a unity, if you will. And I worry that I privilege and prejudice. Kids are interested in that these days, and I um, spend too much time in the trenches and weeds, if you will, when I could bring a certain degree of order that I've wanted out of this project, and I feel like I'm not really meeting life with the hmm, patience and deeply embodied knowledge that I long for. Who'd have thought, eh? Wow, can you believe it? Human being is dissatisfied and um, flawed in some way, but it's very natural. It's very natural. You guys are getting a very quality, up close and personal encounter with the state of my facial hair. So enjoy that. Enjoy that while it lasts. If that's within your realm of pleasure. Oh God, it's so awkward. It's so awkward. I'm so awkward. Um, and it's fun. It's honest. I do enjoy that. I came across a meme which one of my friends, my Buddhist friend who has no patience or interest in metaphysics and um when I'm talking with other people about those things, he's very quick to, oh, stupid philosophers, you guys waste your time. It's all stupid. Um, Fair enough. Fair enough. Sure, if that's your thing. Um, can't say I don't feel similarly at times, but I'm not so quick to denounce um, important things. I think everything's important in its own way. Anyway, that's another tangent. But he shit posts a lot of things, and he has this sort of 4chan clip. I'd show it to you, but I'm currently using my device that I would use to show it to you on, so I can't do that. And I'm not going to edit a video at the moment because I want to get this down so that I can have a little bit less um, contradictory sort of ideational tension within my think noggin before I go to bed. Um, what it says misunderstands Nietzsche in little like squiggly shift eights, um, as otherwise known as like sort of boldening the text, whatever. And there's like this ambiguous picture of like a man overlooking a beach, and everyone who I've sent that to kind of has the impression of like it's kind of like an awkward sort of laugh, and it's like cool, yeah. Um, and I haven't bothered with Nietzsche. I'm not very interested in existentialism as much as it's kind of just the extent of what I do on my channel. I haven't bothered to actually read any of that. It's kind of just been more of an inner path, for better or for worse. Um, and I think it's a fun example, and I hope I can use that to start to wrap up and just paint more of a picture of what I've been interested in. Because what if the image has no meaning? What if there's nothing really about just that, uh, you know, image and man standing there ambiguously looking off into the ocean that has to do with Nietzsche or his misunderstanding? And what if our projection and our sort of head scratching and throat clearing around the image and this sort of discomfort we're faced with in having the right meaning in knowing the right understanding and um, just kind of touching our hmm I don't know, just touching reality in that sense. Maybe that is the meaning in and of itself. Maybe when we understand Nietzsche, we get that sort of implicit context, and we see that the content itself is meaningless, but within the context of understanding Nietzsche or whatever, the image itself totally makes sense. Its meaninglessness is utterly meaningful, and that's the joke. There it is. You got it. And that's interesting. There's tons to think about there, and just that sort of practicality of knowledge, and just that sort of hyper relativity and utter negation. I have been really investigating, and I feel like um, my approach to philosophy is very chaotic and disorganized because I think that's real and important in its own sense and touches a certain necessary importance, which I believe in. And with that picture, maybe like I don't know, I haven't read it. I don't know what Nietzsche's all about. I don't know, maybe blah blah the death of God, or there's something about that image which means something to someone specifically. And even with my interpretation and all, it's not that that's like the be all end all. That's exactly what it means. I mean, I have a hunch. And I think that's funny. I just think that's a Um, Interesting if that's the case. But maybe blah, whatever, the death of God or whatever interpretation and this and that about Nietzsche and all those things. And I think that as much as we understand Nietzsche in this example through the whole sort of misunderstanding him thing, and we touch that kind of void, his whole thing is you stare long enough into the void and it stares back at you. Um, well, I worry that sometimes I don't really allow that void to stare back into me, and it can just be a little bit too much staring into the void sometimes, and I can lose that necessary balance that I strive for in the first place. And I've been feeling like that's important, and I worry that I get in my own way. I've been really opening myself up to feedback again after just challenging last little bit, and really just like sitting in the center of this sort of eye of the storm of the sort of grandiosity and collapse model of narcissism in meta psychology, I guess. I don't speak in clinical language. I mean, as much as I am there clearly, but don't implicate me and um, whatever. Maybe you know what I mean. And really just being at that center between not knowing and knowing. I think this is largely what the Bhagavad Gita kind of gestures towards in my sort of study and understanding of it. I haven't even finished it. There's just so much to it, and I've been reading it like close to like a year by now, and I've just restarted it so many times because Krishna just rolls up and whoops your ass harder and harder each time. That's just beautiful. I love. That's why I like to read so much because you find what really does it, and you come back and you just learn more and more and more. But I get the sense of um, Arjun. He knows all this wisdom. He has all this shit to say, and how the sanctity of the family, and I don't want to kill my family, and it's not divine to fight in the war, and we should all just love each other and have peace and all these things. Um, and Krishna tells him like, you say all these lovely things, but here you are, you look at the consequences, and Krishna goes deeper and walks him through just the depth that he's missing and how he has one piece of the picture, but there's so much more to everything. And Krishna pulls no punches. Like that, what the Bhagavad Gita is gesturing us towards is not about us. And I worry for me is just this sort of crusading and rampaging around ideas and just these sort of metaphysical sort of tumbleweeding, if you will. It's cool and all, and I like to share that because it's honest, it's real, and I think that's important. But I'm so much more than that. We're all so much more than that, you know. And I think that starts with taking a bit more time, being a little bit more patient, really listening more, not needing to have everything down in one space, and God, just integrating more of my understanding and more deeply knowing what I know. Um, I look to Plato in knowledge. I think somewhere in the Meno, blah blah. Um, do men who know still do evil? Is something of the question. And I think with Arjuna we can we can know these things, but we're still so silly. We're still so confused. And as much as I'm a chicken running around with its head cut off, you know, that chicken's gonna die, and you can cook it, and you can eat it, and it can go on to do. Well, that's a weird analogy. It's a really weird analogy. Um, so maybe you guys get a little bit of what I'm talking about. Um, so this is incomplete. This is heat of the moment and spontaneous, and I like that. That's fun. Um, but I'd like to do more over time. This isn't like a whole set in stone. This is exactly what's going to happen. Here is my sort of blah blah schedule and all this shit. No, no. But I'd like to do more writing, and I would like to be a little bit more formal as I can. Charlie's been pretty ruthless. I hear him in the back of my mind reminding me of the sort of goals and ideals of philosophy being a sort of providing some sort of conclusiveness and concreteness. And I like that. I do like that. Um, has its place. So I'm recording this to, one, share myself and do my thing, but also to just have a little bit of accountability with things. Maybe I could use some more time just away from the project. Again, not this sort of weekly uploading. The last week, I've been actually recording a lot of things, um, slightly at inappropriate times. Like one of my days at work, I spent a lot of time recording, and I was getting paid time and a half, and I had a lot of time to kill. So, but yeah. Sometimes I worry about how much I can make the project about me, because on one level it is. You know, it's nice to have a place to do my thing, but it also really isn't. You know, I have to find a better balance between how this fits into everything else in my life, perhaps. Um, not very conclusive as to what all of this means, naturally, naturally, but that's a little bit. That's a little bit, and it just feels like there's so much more. There's always so much more to say. Can just go on and on. Um, but I hope to understand Nietzsche as much as I misunderstand him, and hopefully we'll all be better off from that. So we'll see what happens. I wish you well. Thank you for sticking around. Thanks for being involved with the channel or whatever. Um, I appreciate it. I appreciate you. And go out there and misunderstand Nietzsche. All right, peace, you guys.